Hey guys, welcome to another live. It's Taylor, and on this channel, I make videos about health, wellness, reality, and leveling up in your life. That's so funny. I was in such a, and the theme of this live is we're going to be talking about the best vegan world, and I'm super excited to talk about this. Hello. Hey Larissa, I hope everyone's well and have had a really amazing week. And it's been really hot here on the South Coast and in Sydney as well. So that's been really, really great. Hello, hey Poppy B. And yeah, so today later on we'll talk about the best vegan restaurants in the world, my favorite restaurants, your favorite restaurants. I'm happy to take recommendations from everyone. But yeah, I've been filming a vlog today, and I just wanted to show you these amazing stickers that I got. So these are just stickers from don'twatch.org. Hello. They're from don'twatch.org, and yeah, if you haven't seen the video already, it's 7 minutes long, really great to send around to people who aren't aware of what happens in the animal agricultural industries. So I'm really excited I got those today. I also got a really cool vegan shirt that I'm going to share with you in the vlog as well. That'll be coming out later this week. And I'd also just like to talk about the Fiji market in Newtown, because I went there yesterday, and that's where I stock up on most of my spices. So if anyone is watching this from Sydney, they can go and pick up some stuff there. So like, I don't know if people generally think about the price of spices, but I got this like coriander, these like whole coriander seeds for like $3.50. And you can recycle soft plastics, by the way, if you take them back to Woolworths. As far as I'm aware of. So we like to put these in jars in the house in some nice shelves up behind. So yeah, that's $3.95 for all that. So that is pretty damn good. And also some Himalayan rock salt. It has a lower content of sodium because it does have other minerals in it. As far as I'm aware, it's not iodide. Ooh. Yes, it doesn't supply iodide. But the way that I have that is through seaweed, which is really handy because I like sushi. And I got some cassia. To be honest, I think this is another type of cinnamon. This was $4.95, and yeah, it's like a huge packet. So I'll quickly go through these. So these were $13.95 for just like whole lentils, and you can let them, you've got to rehydrate them and then cook them for a while before you can use it. But for this whole packet, this was $3.95. So if you think like a can of lentils usually costs $1 and you're probably getting like that amount, big packets like this, if you're like organized and buy it ahead of time and give yourself the time to prepare your meals, it's actually a really great like financial hack as well as whole food hack, because it's much better for your body to be having it from this kind of like pure state. And then I also got some bay leaves. These were $1.25. Just because we've been using the Fiji market for a while, I've actually kind of forgotten how overpriced the spices are in Coles and Woolies. And something like this would be a lot more than $1.25. And also just another hack for anyone out here who's done a Vipassana. Has anyone here done a Vipassana before? Because I remember going in, and in the dorms, they sticky tape bay leaves on like the walls and like areas where there's insects and things. It's a really good natural pest repellent because cockroaches don't like bay leaves. And we have this around in our kitchen, and it has greatly like, you know, kindly reduced the amount of pests that we've had in the kitchen. So like usually I'll just pick them up and throw them into the grass outside. But yeah, it's really great. Like, it's a little bit weird because if you open our pantry as well, like we've taped bay leaves all through. So I think if people didn't know what we were trying to achieve, they'd be like, what? But yeah. And then we also got some fragrant garam masala. That was $5.95. And yeah, it's got, yeah, so I think they get the spices in bulk and then they package them. But the lady is really, really nice as well. We had a great chat with her and she's really cool. Yeah, it's got like a really nice vibe. Like sometimes when you go into a place, it's like super like impersonal, but I was like talking to her and she was really, really cool. So that was a very nice shopping experience as well. And they have stuff there from all over the world. And yeah, it's really cool. And then I got some mustard seeds for $3.95. Like I just look how big that is, and it's like $3.95. What else? We got some cumin, $3.95. Although we did get the whole one, so we will need to use a more pestle for that as well. So, another hack is, so I used to work, before we get into the restaurant stuff, I used to work at a really amazing all-vegan Indian place in Glebe, and they had spicy pickles on their menu, and I really, really, really loved them. And then when I came across these, I think Piers introduced me to these. Thank you so much because they're so good. And these are mango pickle. This is the hot flavor, and this is lime chili pickle. And these are vegan, and they're from India, so they're like super, like they've got the same taste as the one that I used to have in the restaurant, which is really, really cool. And they've got a few different flavors as well. So I highly recommend this one. They were $4.95 each. And we always have to stock up on them because I really like them on my mother bread as well. Yeah, so that's my little haul today for spices. So I guess I've titled this The Best Vegan Restaurants in the World. Yeah, I've heard that too, because pickles are quite high in like super processed salts and sodium, and it is very like acidic. I think it can give you like ulcers as well. I think it's quite similar to other like barbecue or tomato sauces as well, because they are super processed and they're only just a condiment. You're not supposed to eat a lot. So I will keep that in consideration. I did go a little bit hard on them last week, so I'll probably give those a break for just a little tiny bit. But yeah. And I've just got this like massive spice pile next to me now. So, oh no, that's no good. The Medical Medium is a really great book to look into. I haven't read the whole thing, but I did have a flip through the book. And whenever I feel like doing a detox, celery juice, yes, celery juice is the best. On an empty stomach is always really, really great. And Piers actually found this really amazing alternative to celery juice as well, and that's aloe vera water. So if you can get your hands on an aloe vera plant and just cut off the sides and then soak them in water, it is also really good for you to have on an empty stomach, that aloe vera infused water just straight from the plant. So that's also really good. It can also be quite cost effective. I remember for a while when I was having problems with my skin that I was having celery juice a lot, especially when I was living in the city, because I do have sensitive skin, and I would go out and buy celery juice like a lot. And in some parts of the season, it would be super, super expensive. And I remember once Top Juice was like, yeah, we have to charge more today because it's harder to get our hands on good stuff. So aloe vera juice is a really great alternative as well. I don't know if it is as detoxifying, but I've just found it's really nice. It can be quite bitter when you first make the infusion, but you can reuse the aloe vera chunks in it for like another batch of water as well. The first batch does taste rank, let's be honest. It's like medicine water, but then like celery juice, it tastes really bitter to begin with. And then as your body, I think, becomes more alkaline, like I'm not a scientist, so this is just like my opinion. I think as your body becomes more alkaline, you get more acquired to the taste. And yes, aloe vera is also great for sunburn as well. And it's also super hydrating. And if you just like cut it, and I like to put it on my face at night now, and it is really hydrating for my skin as well after like the sun, and even just in general. It's just great for like a lot of things. But yeah, on the topic of vegan restaurants, today the vegan markets was so cool. It was the first markets I've been to since COVID's happened. So I haven't been to the market for like a year. And it was a lot more spread out because I think of COVID, but there was a lot more tents there as well. So I went to a really amazing gyros tent called Zesty Foods, and that was really awesome to try for the first time. And I got my first like activist top, which I'm really stoked about. And I also just ate like a lot of food. Like I had this Mexican cacao, which was really nice. The vegan markets were in the entertainment quarter in Sydney. So it's really close to the Hordern Pavilion. From Central, it is a little bit of like a couple of buses to get there, but it's really worth it. And it's also 2 hours free parking in the actual like facility of the entertainment quarter. So we just went there for a couple of hours and then we just like moved the car afterwards, although I don't think the parking is like super expensive if you want to stay there longer. But honestly, like after I was there for 2 hours, I had a lot of food and I think I'd done my bit. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And I definitely wanted to buy more clothes, but I was like, I think I'm good for clothes. I think I need to keep a cap on that because I have a lot of dresses that I need to flip, like a lot of thrifted dresses. My sister lent me her sewing machine, and it'll be interesting to see if I can sew and wear them in public without them falling apart. But I'm excited about that. But yeah, I'm going to go through and just talk about my favorite vegan restaurants in the world. Me and my friends who went to Europe, we were like, she's vegan as well, so we actively sought all these amazing vegan restaurants in Europe, and I've gone overseas for vegan festivals as well. But just to start off with the most like local ones to me, and then I will also talk about some that I remember from overseas, although sometimes the vegan restaurants can like shift and stuff, especially with COVID. Like, I don't know if I can be exact about which ones, like what the names are of everything. But I can also talk about which countries seem to be generally more vegan friendly than others. So yeah, in Sydney, my favorite vegan restaurant, well, one of them is Golden Lotus in Newtown. And they do really amazing like fake meats. Yesterday I got a yellow duck noodle soup where they have this amazing duck alternative. They've just nailed it so well. I think they used to have one similar to that in Wollongong, and it's also one like that in Canberra as well. The one in Wollongong isn't there anymore. Yes, Golden Lotus is really, really great. There's also another one similar to Golden Lotus, like similar type of cuisine. It's just a little bit more down the road, and it's called Vina Vegan, and that's also really nice, especially if you want to go out somewhere and not have super junky food. Like maybe you're training for something and you don't want, say, vegan fried chicken, for example. That's also really great because in both of those restaurants, they use a lot of vegetables and it tastes really fresh as well. And it's like a high carb, high protein. It's got all the macronutrients all together. Yeah, I just get really excited talking about vegan food and restaurants. And yeah, so those are like also my favorite. Another one is Bodhi it's in the CBD. So it's like in a park. I think it's Victoria Park or something. And it's an organic dumpling house, and they walk around and give out the plates, and then they just like tally which ones you took, and then you pay for it at the end. And it is quite a little bit pricey, but it is really worth it because all the stuff they use, as far as I'm aware of, is organic. And yeah, the first time I went there was really, really funny because I never had yum cha before, and they had all of the entrees come out first. So like things like spring rolls and deep fried things. And I'd seen like the dumplings and stuff online. Yeah, All Like in Canberra is really amazing as well. It's like super, super great. And they do really great soups and fake meat as well. So if you're ever in Canberra, All Like is really amazing. But yeah, Bodhi is really great. yeah, the first time I went there, we all accidentally ordered a bunch of entrees thinking that was like the mains. And then we like stuffed our faces with entrees, and then all the mains came out and we were like, oh no, we messed up here, or we're gonna have to order more now. It was like a great meal. It was an epic meal. It was so good, but it's also one of those places where you don't feel really like when you leave, because everything is freshly made. It's like super bougie as well. Like they've got a really good system going with like all their waiters and stuff. Like they're all quite professional. So it's like a really nice experience if you're looking for something really bougie. Yeah, and one of my favorites as well is Green Mushroom on Glebe Point Road. I actually used to work there when I was a student, and it was like the best. It was really, really great. And at the time I was working there, they did like a vegan cheesy naan. I'm not sure if they do that anymore, but they do a really good vegan butter chicken. And as far as I'm aware of, they're like the only place in Sydney that does that. And they just like pull it off so well. And yeah, they do a really good job of different dals. And they have a lot of different like breads, like lacha paratha, as well as like roti and broccoli paratha. And they've got a lot of spices there. Like you can do it however spicy you want. And like I love spice, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I want it really spicy. And they're like, oh, you're sure? Yes, Green Mushroom is amazing. And yeah, they were really great to work for. They're like awesome there. So highly recommend if you get a chance. And what else? There's like, I don't remember the name of it, but it's on Glebe Point Road and it's near Nature's Energy. And that's also a really great cafe. And they do like vegan croissants and coffee, is really good coffee as well. You know, there was a change over in ownership and they changed the name. And at the time I was living there, it was the previous owners. So that's why I can't remember the name. Sorry about that. I mean, yeah, that's also really great. What's another one? There's also a place in Gwenville that does really good za'atar, like za'atar flatbread. And I think if you just like typed in za'atar, I'll try that now. Yeah, it's literally called Mr. Za'atar. You do have to, yeah, Mr. Za'atar Takeaway in Wollongong is also really, really cool. And you do need to ask for it. It's not like a fully vegan place, but I really love za'atar and like flatbread, and they do a really good one. And also their gluten-free version is kind of like a crunchy pizza. And like when I ordered it, my expectations were really, really low, because sometimes gluten-free can just not pass the test. But it was actually really good because it was like super, super crunchy as well. And yeah, in terms of, oh, Raw Authentic was also really, really great. I'll send through the links. Also, I noticed in the past live streams, sometimes the chats and things don't quite work because I haven't gotten a streaming software yet, which is something I'm working on. And hopefully by next week, I'll have that down and ready. But I'm also going to pop all the links that I put into the chat into the description box as well. So if you want to come and look at it later, I think this is it. That is not it. Okay. Okay, I've got it now. I've got it. There you go. So that's another great one. That was in my Byron Bay blog as well. If you want to check out what I got this like mint cacao raw cake, and it tasted like one of those old school Freddo frogs that you used to get when people, like, you know, it's for charity, but then it's got milk in it. Yeah, I won't. Yeah, just the irony is just interesting. But yeah, that's also really great. While I think of some more restaurants as well, I'd like to run through some vegan news. This is a really interesting article. Literally, as I opened the computer, I just got home to do this. I haven't read the whole thing, but I think it's something that should be on people's radar. I haven't read it yet. I just thought it was interesting that it was the first thing that popped up. But it's an article from ABC News. It's an opinion piece. So, are COVID vaccines vegan? Should I get one anyway? And ethicist explains. So yeah, make of this what you will. I think definitely an opinion piece. I don't particularly agree with everything that I've read so far. Like there's a bit at the end which says like the reasons why people don't want to take the vaccine is humanity caused the pandemic. Experts widely predicted a pandemic would happen sooner than later. Many believe, I don't know if that's something people can believe because it's been in the literature for a very long time. It was a direct result of human activity, indeed mistreating animals. So that's all I'm going to say. Take of it what you will, but I disagree with the term many believe. You can read the literature yourself about animal agriculture and how it's just basically messing up the environment and our proximity to animals, and literally the feces that they live in creates, you know, these super viruses basically. Like that's not that's what I've deducted from the research, like the peer-reviewed articles I've read. So make of it what you will. Yeah, okay. Anyway, moving on. Before we move on from this thing we're all sick of talking about, COVID, I'm also just wanting to make you aware that there's been some protests in Australia. Yes. Take away from this video what you will. I won't make any comments. I don't think this video has any comments whatsoever. This is just for you to make up your own mind about what's happening. All I will say is question everything put in front of you. Moving on to a less controversial topic. Adidas bans fur, commits to sustainable materials. Cool. Sounds great. That's all I have to say. Yeah, I mean, it's about time. There's a lot of places, fashion houses that are kind of getting rid of fur, and it's really great. I don't know why people still think it's like cool to wear fur. Like wear your own skin. If you walked around with someone else's skin on your back, you would be classed as a sociopath. So I don't know why it's like socially acceptable for us to wear the fur of other beings. Like, and it's not necessary. Like back in like the old days, you know, I mean, yeah, it's just like really, I just think it's so weird. And there's a lot of videos out there that kind of spin it as like, okay, so people wear fur, but what if we did it with humans? There you go. That's a horror movie. So yeah, I think it's weird people still wear fur. It's unnecessary and it's not mindful of like other beings because we have synthetic materials now. What I thought was really, really cool and a little bit lighter. And I guess that's also a tip. I mean, I did a lot of street activism last year, and it is good for you to mix things up with some like lighter topics as well. Like it's obviously we all need to be talking to people about what's going on in the world, but we can also, you know, look at the good things that are changing as well. That's also really important for us as activists, especially long term, because I'm sure if you're watching this or if you're already vegan and you are doing activism, like we're all in this for the long term. So prioritizing your mental health is like so important. And if you feel like watching the footage is really draining, like it is draining, it's like full on. So you need to take care of yourself as well, which is why I've sent this article through about how plant-based has been branded one of the top trending diets on TikTok after views exceeded 29 million. So videos with the hashtag plant-based diet outranked the carnivore diet by nearly 20 million views. So that's really cool because it means that the word is getting out there about veganism and people are learning more about it. And a lot of those would be hacks, I'm guessing. So people can walk away knowing more about the plant-based diet, which is really, really awesome. Because a lot of it for people is going to come down to convenience. And TikToks showing people how to do things is also going to make it more convenient for people because the information about this lifestyle will become more accessible. In other news, vegan news that makes me happy. I've never heard of this guy. I just think it's cool. Vegan powerlifter gets gold in championships with 200 kilogram lift. And his name's Noah Hannibal. He's a vegan powerlifter and animal advocate. And he said, not too bad after 30 years of wasting away as a vegan. So, yeah. All of us who are vegan are already activists because we're proving that we're not wasting away. So, yeah, those are the articles I found interesting as soon as I found when I came home. And I wanted to share with you all and more on vegan restaurants and stuff. So I also really loved Lilium just outside of Byron Bay. If you've been Lilium, love. Find the link for that. So this place was really, really great. I also included it in my Byron Bay vlog. That was probably, to me, one of the most impressive restaurants that we went to. On the site, it says it's a general store, organic kitchen, apothecary. I can never get that word right. It's so like, it's a natural cellar and it sells tonics, coffee and food for the mystics, 100% organic, medicinal and consciously crafted. So when I went there, it was just a super great vibe. And the people who were working there were just like absolute beams of health. And when I go to a restaurant, I want to see people who look amazing because I don't know, it shows to me that they value their health and also like the attitude of the people there and the vibe of the place is also really important to me. And they had really great medicinal mushrooms that you could put in your coffee for $3.33. So it's like an angel number, which was really, really nice. And the whole aesthetic is really cool, as well as what you actually get in the meal. So it was like super, super green, super, super alive. And I'm finding as I eat less vegan junk food, I actively seek out these more organic places. And I am prepared to like, you know, pay the premium on organic stuff and, you know, more like raw stuff because it always makes me feel really good. I don't know if anyone remembers Sedana's in Newtown. That was a really great place. I think it might have just been a little bit pricey, or for me at the time I was a student, so I did find it a bit pricey. That used to be in Newtown. And that was really cool as well because I was raw at that time. So Lilium's also really, really great. And in terms of like the world, I would say Chiang Mai in Thailand is one of the most vegan-friendly cities in the world. I went there for the Thai Fruit Festival where Durian Rider and Freely were running it that year in 2015. And I couldn't even like list all of the restaurants because there is like a really great awareness about like veganism and vegetarianism because it does have a lot of like jai, I think is the word they use for it. I'll just double check that because it has been a while. Okay, so in Thai, jai means, it's just taking me to a really weird forum. So it means Buddhist vegan food. So it does have that like religious aspect in their culture. So it's basically vegan with some additional restrictions such as alcohol or even certain plants such as garlic. So yeah, sometimes when I was in the Green Mushroom, Buddhists would come in and ask if we could do curries without onion or garlic. because some Buddhists won't eat that. I think because it's a stimulating vegetable. I do have to look more into that, and I really do love learning about Buddhism and learning about other cultures as well. So Jai makes, because of that, because it's already alive in their religious culture, it does make it a lot easier to eat vegan food over there, and people are very understanding when you ask for it as well. And there's a lot of vegan restaurants that have been made around the kind of expat culture. I went there for 3 weeks. I was intending to go just for the festival, and I stayed in a really awesome hotel because I knew everyone from the festival was staying there. And after about a week, I was just I'm going to cancel my flight home and stay here for another 3 months until I run out of money. So I stayed there for 2 months in total, and then I had a connector flight to Bali because I was meeting my parents were there. I was oh, they're going to Bali in a month and a half. I'll just meet them there. I was working a lot that year, and I wanted to do as much traveling as I could. And Asia was great because you can, it's very cheap to live there if you're there for a long time. I stayed in an apartment block, and I think it only cost me 250 AUD to get a residency there, a studio apartment. And I did a bunch of cycling, really great Thai food. It was also mango season, so I was eating high raw in mango season. I think me and my roommate, we literally bought so many mangoes because it was 25 baht a kilo, and at the time 25 baht was $1 Australian. So that was amazing, and the fruit in general is just so much better than Australia. And yeah, so that was really, really great. And also Hawaii is also another vegan's paradise, especially the Big Island. From what I experienced, I only went to Oahu and the Big Island, but Hilo is a smaller town. It's not quite as touristy, so it is a little bit cheaper. And I went to a raw vegan retreat, which was on someone's farm. Oh, cool. So only Chay means vegetarian in Vietnamese. Usually the places are vegan, owned by monks, at least when I was there. Wow, thank you for letting me know that. I didn't know that. So that's really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, vegan Vietnamese food is just something else. It's really, really awesome. And I'd love to go to Vietnam when, traveling becomes a little bit easier. I have a lot of places I want to go once we can travel again. So Vietnam's definitely on my agenda. And yeah, yes. And it's got a notification, and I just lost my train of thought. It's good to, yeah, it helps when places are more vegan friendly and have an understanding of it, but there are definitely some places which do make it a lot more difficult to be vegan, especially if you're going there. When you go traveling, you don't always, obviously the reason you go to a new place is so you can experience something new. And sometimes people do things differently. That's the whole point of traveling, as to what you do when you're at home. And you need to be aware that everything you take for granted at home is not going to be at that new place. For example, when I went through Eastern Europe, me and my friend were just what? Because every time we ordered, when we first ordered rice, we were really confused because it was really oily. And it was really oily, and we were oh, this rice. And of course, when you've been vegan for a long time, you just generally question everything in front of you. Yes, I'm an inconvenience. But no, it's not an inconvenience at all, because it's for the animals. And we'd be hey, what's up with this rice? It just seems a bit funky and it smells like dairy. And they were oh yes, we put butter in the rice. And I'd be like, oh my God, no. Like, so yeah, just little things like that, different preparation methods and everything. Yeah, so you really need to like be careful and ask. There was this amazing sandwich shop in Jordan. So like if you ever go to Jordan, it was one of those local places that didn't even like, I'm sure there was a name in Arabic, but it was one of those corner stores where all the workers go, or the local workers go. So if you ever go to the Sijal Institute in Amman, it's like around the corner. And I'm sure if you like went in there and like asked them about the sandwich shop, I'm sure they would like let you know, because they're really, really amazing. I had such a great time there and my teachers were awesome. And it's like just around the corner from Rainbow Street. Rainbow Street is like the touristy street of Amman. That's where we stayed. And it was literally like $1 Australian for like a sandwich, a toasted sandwich with tahini, falafel, and like tabbouleh as well. Oh, it was so great. And I budgeted so much money for Jordan. And then we just like had this sandwich shop like every single day. So I actually came home with money because I didn't realize how cheap it was going to be. But I had a bit of a scare there because this sauce that was tahini, it was just tahini in the end, by the way. But I thought the word for vegan was nabati, which is actually vegetarian, because the word for vegan is not used as much. I'm not sure, as far as I'm aware of. So when you Google it, it's like nabati is like vegan. So I was like, oh, I'll just say nabati and everything will be fine. But then one of my teachers, because I brought it up to him in class, and he was like, no, it's actually not. That doesn't mean vegan. People told you the wrong thing. It's not vegan. And I was like, oh my God, I've been eating these sandwiches like every day. And then I went back to the sandwich shop and asked what, like if it was, oh my gosh, my really limited knowledge of Arabic has gotten even worse since I've left uni. But like the words for milk and stuff, oh, halib, that's it. I'd ask if there was halib in it, and they said no, so it was just tahini. So definitely ask things in many different ways when we're overseas again, hopefully. But yeah, so Bali has really great vegan restaurants. I love Zula in Seminyak. If anyone's been there, it's really, really great. There's a lot more vegan restaurants there now than when I last went there, because it's been a few years. But Seminyak has some really great vegan restaurants, and all the ingredients they use are really fantastic as well. And Seminyak's also near the beach too. I also have Ubud's also really popular for like yoga. I think there's this place there called the Yoga Barn that everyone talks about. That's really, really great. And I miss Bali so much. Like, I really miss Bali. I'm pretty sure there's some like like so many Australians just go to Bali all the time, and if you talk to like half the Aussies everywhere, everyone's just like, I miss Bali. Like, I really, really miss it. Bali's one of my favorite places. I've been there so many times, and I will never get sick of going to Bali because it's just so beautiful, and the people are so amazing, and the fruit is so good. And yeah, I definitely want to explore Indo more once everything opens back up again, because I've only really been to Bali. I've never been to Java or like Sumatra or any of the other islands as well. So that's definitely on my agenda as well. And the UK was really great for veganism, although I only spent 4 days there, which was a little bit. But they had, I think London's like the vegan capital of the world now. I mean, like there's just so many things happening there. Like the vegan campouts there, like I just want to go so badly. I reckon that would be, just be so amazing, and just bask in the glory of a vegan festival, like an amazing vegan festival that looks like a music festival in terms of like the headlines they make for all the speakers. But yeah, I have been to Austria. I really liked Austria. Yeah, I wasn't there for long though. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure we So when I was going through Eastern Europe, I was on a camping tour, and it was really interesting because we always stayed outside the city, and we actually had a cook. So most of our meals were made by our cook, and we didn't actually know until the end that it was our cook's first tour as a cook. So she'd never actually done it before, and she told it on the last day. And we were just like, never would have known, because she was so great and she really made such an effort for me and my friend. So if things start opening up and you can do Kentucky, I highly recommend. I'm pretty sure they even do, like, before COVID, like Kentucky tours, before vegan Kentucky tours. But yes, I have been to Austria. I don't think I went to that because our cook like did most of our meals there. And it was a while ago. I haven't had like a standout memory of a restaurant in Austria, I think. Yeah. Like, I'll just look up. Yeah, like, we didn't spend enough time there to really explore the vegan restaurants. We had a bit more time in Italy. Like, a lot of the smaller countries we kind of just jumped around in. Like, I remember Munich was really, really great because it was just awesome. There was vegan stuff everywhere in the supermarkets, and it clearly marked everything. I don't think we were in Austria long enough because we usually only stayed in, I think it was like 2 or 3 days max. And because we were looking at all the museums and everything, we just kind of stop in like random tourist restaurants, and then we just try and like make a vegan thing on the fly. We didn't have enough time to actually go seek out the stuff on Happy Cow. Like, we had time to do that in Germany as well as Italy. Florence was amazing for vegan food. My friend and I literally hiked across the city to find this one vegan pizza place that was on Happy Cow, and it was really, really, really awesome. Italy in general was really vegan friendly. I was quite surprised in all the petrol stations that they had like vegan stuff clearly marked as well. France was okay. I was surprised in Paris that they had like a full-on Parisian cafe, and you wouldn't have known it was vegan. It was very like traditional looking, and they had vegan Nutella and crepes and things there. So it is possible, but sometimes you need to walk a little bit from the main tourist things to actually go find them. But again, that was in 2015, and veganism's jumped a lot. So you can definitely find more restaurants are popping up all the time. It's really great, and more non-vegan restaurants are making more alternatives for us as well. And because there's a greater awareness about it, people are more accommodating for it as well. Like, for example, today I went to the vegan markets, and it's one of those like it's a massive car park. It's an entertainment quarter, so it's made for like festivals, concerts, and there's this like weird outdoor mall situation where there's all these like franchise food places, and one of the I think it was like the Bavarian or something like that, one of those franchise places had like a sign out the front saying they had a vegan burger, and it's like right before the whole like mob of vegan restaurants. So yeah, like other places are kind of like jumping on board even if they're not fully vegan as well. What's another amazing vegan place? Spain was pretty good for vegan food as well. I really liked. Barcelona was my favorite place in like the whole trip. It was amazing. Yeah, Spain and like all of Europe was really, really cool. Another place that was surprisingly vegan friendly was Jordan. Like, I'd never had a bad meal in Jordan. Everything I ate there was unreal. Especially because a lot of their mezza, like their entrees, are all traditionally vegan. So they're not like swapping things out and making things on the fly. Like, everything they make is the traditional way it's supposed to be made. And yeah, some of the bread you do have to check, and sometimes they put labneh on things, which is like a yogurt goat I don't know, like a yogurt thing. So you do need to be aware of that as well. But yeah, because most of all of the restaurants, the fancy ones and the street ones, they all have like a mezza menu. And then usually for like the mains, people have lamb and stuff. But the mezza on its own, if you order enough of it, and like falafels and all of that as well, and like lentil rice, like that's all generally vegan. So if you order enough of that, you just have a fantastic time, especially if you like love hummus and like baba ganoush and all of those side dishes, and fattoush as well. Oh my God, I love fattoush. It's like these little, it's like a salad where they put pomegranate molasses through it, and then they do like little croutons. So yeah, like all Middle Eastern restaurants will have like mezza as well, which is mainly vegan, and it's awesome. And also like the mint tea is also a treat as well. Yeah, and also Turkey was really great as well for vegan food too. Eastern Europe was a little bit of challenge, especially too because we had that added the travel time pressure. We literally would go to like say Sofia, we'd be there for lunch and then we'd move on to like the next country. So I think we were like in Bosnia for like 15 minutes because we had to stop there for like petrol, and then we just got back in the bus and kept going. So that was insane. We did 21 countries in 7.5 weeks. So it was insane, and I definitely want to go back to Europe and explore more vegan restaurants. Berlin was awesome. Like we went to this vegan donut place on like one of those like rivers and like man-made canals, but it was just so cool. And yeah, Berlin was one of my favorite places, although we went there at the end of the trip, so we were kind of a bit dead. That's so cool. Hello, that is awesome. I really would love to go to Berlin again. Like at the end of the trip, we were all museumed out, we were partied out. So I didn't even go clubbing in Berlin. Like what? Like what even is that story? It's terrible. Probably, yeah, actually, I'll look that up. Brammy Balls Donuts. I'm just seeing the photos if I can remember if that was the place I went. Yep, that was it. That was it. Yeah, that was really cool. That was really nice because vegan donuts weren't like such a big thing over here. Like now, like today in the vegan markets, there was a vegan donut stand that I'd already tried before when I was in Kiama. Yes, it was really good. Yeah, clubbing in Berlin is the best in the world. I've heard many things about how amazing Berlin clubbing is. You know, clubbing in general in Europe was awesome. Like, it was just awesome. I actually remember in Budapest, like, clubbing in Budapest was awesome because we went to this ruins bar and it was sick. Like, it was all lit up. And we also went to this really amazing, like, traditional Hungarian cuisine, but it was all vegan, and it was actually under like the basement. So it was really, really cool. I could just imagine in the winter it would be super, super cozy. And that was actually quite close to one of the main like all the tourist spots. I'll just look it up to see if I can find, because I'm sure if I saw a photo of it I would remember what it's called. Okay, there's a lot of vegan restaurants in Budapest now. There wasn't that many when I went, so that's good to know. Yes, I did eat a vegan goulash because I was like, okay, I'm in Hungary. I need to have something like traditional, and it was so good. I really, really liked it because I never had goulash before, so that was really cool. I bet it's like so cold over there right now, so it would be so good to eat a good goulash at the moment. It's really hot here, so I've been sticking to like, you know, smoothies and things. But yeah, definitely. What other restaurants did we go to? in Berlin. We went to this one that looked like super anarchist, like with all the graphic design, and that was really cool. That was like super junk foody as well. Oh, I really should remember the names of these. Oops. But yeah, I think I was talking about Hawaii and then I got super distracted. But in Hawaii, there's like, it's really weird. Yo-Yo's World. Yo-Yo's World. I typed in Yo-Yo's World and then just like a bunch of yo-yos came up. Yo-Yo's Food World. Look at the Happy Cow. Yeah, while I'm like waiting for this to load, downloading Happy Cow was the best thing we did. Like we paid the $5 for the whole, I think it might have been that one. Although when we were there, like it looks like it's a restaurant, but it was just more like a hole in the wall sort of situation. But maybe they like upgraded or something. Maybe it's a different one, but I mean, all the food in Berlin was like really, really good. That's so cool. There's people watching in Germany. That's amazing. Yay. Thanks for watching, guys. That's really cool. Like the world we live in today where everyone can connect from everywhere. So that's really awesome. I'm sorry I don't understand the comments. Yes. I know Ichiban pop music means I like pop music and it's a song. That's it. That's my knowledge. Yep. But yeah, there's so many amazing places. On my note for like Hilo in Hawaii is that a lot of the restaurants there actually cater for like raw vegan as well. And it's really interesting because you have that kind of, you know, the fast food world that just dominates the globe. And that scene is like in Hawaii. And then you go like 2 streets and then there is like Whole Food Heaven. There's like a kombucha bar and it's just like Byron Bay on absolute steroids and everyone's just like a walking beam of light and they just look so glowy and healthy. And it's really cool because there's like organic grocers as well. So definitely Hilo, I recommend. Oahu was like a little bit expensive because I stayed in Waikiki for a few days on my way back from the Big Island and I was just like, oh my God. And I was trying to eat raw when I was there. I just thought Waikiki was going to be such like an overwhelming resort. And of course I wanted to stay there and experience it. But if I went back there, I would avoid all the touristy things because, I mean, I'm a beach snob as well. Like I don't like city beaches as much because I grew up where you could just go out and then be like no one for kilometers. And I really like that. And I also find it really irritating when like people around me and they're, I don't know, like littering or something next to a beautiful beach when like, you know, we all need to take care of the ocean. So I prefer quieter beachy things and yeah. So that's why I like the Big Island a lot more. And the Hilo side is like the jungle side. So Kona is like where they hold the Ironman every year. And that's all like deserty. And it's really, really cool because when you drive through the two, it looks like this Martian landscape for like Mauna Kea. And oh my God, I miss Hawaii so much. It's so great. But I also had a really great time in Hawaii. There's so many varieties of fruits and mangoes and avocados. And I remember buying a mango that was $9 US, and it was literally the size of my head. It was amazing. Like me and my friend had to go halves in it because it was so gigantic. And so yeah, Hilo's great for like just vegan living, especially raw living as well, because they've got, you know, like fresh jackfruit and ripe jackfruit and things like cherimoya, which is like a lemon meringue pie in a fruit. So it's like not actually bad for you. And, you know, like mangosteen and rambutan and durian. And if anyone here likes durian, I love durian, but it's got to be a good durian. Like I won't buy durian here in Australia. Like maybe if I ever went to Cairns, like the durian would be better. But I've had the durian in Thailand, which was awesome. And the durian in Hawaii was also good too. Actually, the place I was staying at had a durian like farm, but the trees hadn't like, I don't know, it was like there were new trees or they hadn't given any fruit yet. So we didn't get to taste any of those. But like, yeah, planting fruit trees is a long process. But yeah, Hilo's also really great. Australia's getting better. Even in like, I don't know if anyone here has anyone here been to the south coast of New South Wales? Like, is everyone here Australia? Like, where is everyone from? I'd really like to see, whoops, not monitor off the table. But yeah, so we've got a couple people from Austria and Germany, which is really cool. But I'm from like the south of Sydney. People don't really know where it is. I'm like south of this city called Wollongong, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it's also a beautiful city, and they also have really great restaurants. There's a restaurant there called Bali Spice Magic, and I think the lady who runs it grows the chili herself. And if you like spicy food, it'll literally blow your head off. But I mean, I love Indonesian food, so I really like that restaurant. And there's a really great chain called Pilgrims. I think they have one in like, they have one somewhere in Sydney, but they have one in Huskisson in Jervis Bay, which is like a few suburbs over from where I'm from. And Jervis Bay is amazing, and Pilgrims is like the only vegetarian restaurant there, because the further you get away from the city, the harder it is to find fully vegan restaurants. And that Pilgrim franchise is also in a place called Milton. If you drive even further south, that's like another like surfy kind of town. So that's also there too. What else? I guess on the subject of vegan food and availability, like air food, like plane food, the best for me was probably like Thai Airways or Emirates. I really like Emirates food as well as Thai Airways. I guess this is like all just wishful thinking at the moment. Like, yes, definitely go to Australia. It's awesome. Although like at the moment, yeah, this is all kind of very wishful thinking. I hope the world goes back to the way it once was. Yes. What? Is Australia not in your top 3 countries? I mean, Australia is pretty great. It's also very out of the way. So I can understand why so many like Europeans, like there's a lot of other places in between that you'd want to go. It is such a long flight. It's such a long journey. Like I actually got grounded in Berlin because I flew with EasyJet and they cancelled. So we had a flight from Paris back to Sydney, and our tour finished up in Berlin. So we were like, okay, let's fly. As far as I'm aware, everyone is like, why did you book with EasyJet? Because it's like such a, you know, like a trash service, people tell me. And, you know, it was the first time I've been to Europe. So I didn't know that. But yeah, we rocked up to the airport and we were supposed to get there a day before our flight to come home, like came back from Paris. So we had a 24 hours leeway to get to Paris from that flight, and we got grounded because apparently like the pilots had driven too much that day or something like that. So we were just like, had to like scramble and get a flight, and then we had to like connect through Dusseldorf or something like that, and it was just like the longest. It was like 3 days of traveling, but I mean, it's still like travel. So it was an interesting, like I look back at it now and it's like super funny. Like I just got really, really tired because, you know, we're like waking up at weird times and everything. But yeah, Europe was great. I'd highly recommend Australia. Yeah, it's so beautiful over here. And I mean, I might be going on a little road trip soon, so I'm really excited to film that as well and show you some vegan stuff on the way. And yeah, all of this is like super wishful thinking for me, as well as I hope it is useful for everyone else to kind of like dream up what they're going to do once it's all like not over. I don't know. There's never going to be like a day where we wake up and everything's like back to total normal. But I mean, in the future, when we can travel more, it's good to think of these things and what countries are accommodating. And also, I also think it's never too hard to be vegan in another country, because every country has plants, and I always try to learn a little bit of the language just so I can help better communicate my lifestyle to people. And I also love learning about like another language to communicate with the people, because I find it interesting as like English speakers, we have this just like a lot of places you go, the people have learned English, and I want to learn more languages. Like at the moment, I'm trying to keep on top of my Spanish because I did that at uni, but I really want to travel to South America one day, and I want to be able to actually speak Spanish with the people there. And I can read a little bit of Arabic. Like Arabic is probably one of the hardest languages ever, like for an English speaker to learn. And I definitely don't speak it enough to keep learning. I can only order things or introduce myself, and I can like read the alphabet, and that's about it. But I'm always trying to like learn before I go, so I can understand. So I'm not just coming in with well, everyone has preconceptions, but I at least try to learn more before I go anywhere new, because research is awesome and it's fun to learn other languages and to not expect everyone to speak English to you all the time, because that's just obnoxious. But yeah, so those are the things I'm working on. I try to keep on top of my Spanish. Arabic has fallen to the wayside a lot because it takes so much time to practice it, and it takes so much energy for me to learn something new. Because with Spanish, it clicks a lot easier because, I mean, it's like derived from Latin, like English, so you can kind of guess some of the words and it's still like the same. But Arabic is like a total different playing field. Like I did it for a semester and that was like 1A. It was like, and I'd just come back from Jordan and I was like, yeah, like beginner Arabic, like I know a little bit. And then I went in there and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to, it was so much work. And I really respect everyone who can speak, well, like multiple languages, especially from like different language families, because it is hectic. That's like a different, it's like a different level of difficulty because like sometimes repetition just doesn't work. Yeah. So yeah, that happens a lot, like in different social situations, because they don't. I've never been to Iceland before. Um, yeah, and you do need to. Yeah, yeah. There's like different environmental circumstances as well. Maybe if like you're going somewhere where you know that, like now I know when I go to Iceland that I need to be prepared in terms of veganism and spend a lot of time like researching. That's actually good to know that. Thank you, because I do want to go to Iceland one day. Yeah, you do need to do the research and sometimes dedicate a little bit more time, because it is easy to go travel and then you get in a situation where you're hungry, and then if you're like, especially if you're a new vegan and you're trying it and you go somewhere new and you haven't like prepared yourself, it's much easier for people to pressure you to do it even if you don't want to. So definitely prepare yourself, take food places if you need to as well. That's what we found in Burleigh Heads. So I think I said it in my last live, but we went to a Govinda's, and it was like the only vegan restaurant, and we went there hungry. So we stood in the line and we saw the level of like cross-contamination, and we weren't down to like, we're like, we're good. But then because we were already hungry, we were like walking around the restaurants, and we're just like that just doesn't, like, we're just going to have to check 3 times they're not using fish sauce, or that just looks like we're going to have chips in there. Like, it's like a typical Aussie steakhouse. Like, I don't even want to eat there. And then we just ended up going to Woolies. So preparation is king, and even ringing in advance as well is always good. But yeah, I mean, we're getting on now. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Like, that's crazy that there's like, oh my God, like people from across the world watching this. It's like so cool. I hope you've all had a really amazing weekend, or I mean, morning for you guys over there on the other side of the world. So you have an amazing day, and I hope you found some of those links I put in there useful. Again, I will pop it down in the description box. I will have a new video coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday. Thank you. I hope my channel keeps on growing as well, because I really love making these videos, and I love doing these lives. That just like warms my soul that like you guys are tuning in, and I really love talking about plant-based diet and health and veganism in general. Cool, so it's like mid-morning, so you're just having like your coffee now. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Again, a new video is coming out on Tuesday. I've got a big announcement on Thursday as well, some like life-altering stuff. So I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest. I won't talk about it too much because I have to do it tomorrow. It's like one of those things where you like think about for a while, and then you're like, okay, I have to pull the trigger on this. This has to go ahead. So I'm very excited, and that the video for that thing will be out on probably Thursday or Friday. And again, I love doing these lives. So yeah, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I hope you found this helpful or even inspirational, because we just talked about travel, and I like to keep my travel dreams alive. So yeah, have a great day, everyone, and talk soon. Mwah.